Good morning, everyone. I just want to say welcome, and we'll be starting in a few minutes. Jeff, how many were we expecting?
22.
Okay. I'm gonna wait another minute or two at most, and then we're gonna get started. So if people want to just go grab a glass of water or something, we'll get started in a couple minutes. Welcome. We'll be starting in just a minute. All right. Well, let's get going, and others will join us when they are ready. Welcome. First of all, can everybody see my screen? This slide? Okay, great. Thank you. Welcome to the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program Accreditation and Instructor Certification webinar. Thanks for taking time to join us over the next 2.5 hours. We'll have an opportunity to review Illinois Works guidance for curriculum, program accreditation, and instructor certification. The target audience for this course is Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship grantee program administrators, program coordinators, training coordinators, instructors, relevant partners. Hopefully you are one of those people. I recognize some of the names on the in the participant list. Welcome to all who I know and don't yet know. My name is Anna Bedard. I am one of the coaches and professional development staff here at Illinois Works. I'll be leading just the very beginning and the very end part of the program. Jeff Doolittle. Jeff, you want to come off or come on to camera and off mute and just say hello. Jeff's going to be leading the program today.
Yeah, hi everyone. Jeff Doolittle. I have 25 years experience working within different highly regulated programs and working with an instructor accreditation. And like Anna, I'm also one of the team here and one of the program coaches. Welcome again. We're glad to have you here. And I'm going to turn it back over to Anna.
Great. And then Gia, you all probably know Gia. You want to come on camera and just say hi real quick?
Hi, everyone, and welcome.
Dr. Gia Suggs is also part of our professional staff, and she's been with the program now. This is her third year with the program, and maybe 3.5 already, and she knows everything. So if we, she's going to be a great help in this, and she'll be helping to monitor the chat today. Move on to the next slide. Course description. Illinois Works, as you know, and I'm going to do this really quickly because you have all probably seen this slide before, was created as a result of Governor Pritzker's historic $45 billion capital plan, his commitment to expanding equity in Illinois construction workforce. I want to thank all of you for being our partners and Governor Pritzker's partner in expanding equity in the Illinois construction workforce, because that is what we are up to. The substantial funding has been made available. This is one of 3 key programs that's part of Illinois Works. And the course objectives here are, we'll do another quick review of the program in general, and then talk about what's in scope and what's out of scope for the pre-apprenticeship curriculum. How do you comply with program accreditation requirements, instructor credentialing, and Illinois Works guidance for required instruction? How to incorporate employability skills and incorporate additional certifications and content considerations as appropriate, and how to leverage coaching support. That's what we're up to today. Please note that this session is being recorded, and it will be made available for review on our Illinois Works Partner Guide website. The link to the Illinois Works Partner Guide is now being made available in the chat. If you haven't already saved that as bookmarked it in your in your internet browser, then please do so, because that's where you'll find all the information that you need for the program. Any questions before we proceed? Right, let's keep moving. I'm just going to real quick go over the WebEx features and functions, and then we would like to give you a chance to both introduce yourselves and tell us what you hope to learn from the training. So real quick, with the WebEx tutorial, we've got arrows here. There's a mute button. Please keep yourself on mute when you are not speaking, but if you if you have questions, if you could put them into chat, that's fine. Sometimes we need to ask you to come off to clarify a point or something, but there's the mute button. Stop. You can turn on and off your video there. Raise your hand if you'd like to speak. And then reactions, we're all familiar with reactions from Facebook and the like. And the chat button is especially important. It's in the lower right-hand corner, the little chat bubble there, so that you can ask a question or comment in chat and also see all the things that we're putting into chat. If you have questions, comments, feedback, you can email us at ceo.illinoisworks@illinois.gov. That is also being put into the chat so that you can easily have access to that. We're now going to go to Mentimeter. You all know how much we love Mentimeter. So if you can access that, www.menti.com, and you're going to enter the number 78418624. I'll give you a minute to do that. Thanks for playing. That's what I'll say. I'm going to go to the next. I'm going to switch screens here. You can still see the code up here at the top, 78418624. I believe that information should also be in the chat. Give me a thumbs up if you're in. That way I can see if I should proceed. Hopefully I'll have a little thumbs up button. You can do this on your phone if you want. Thanks, Jatan. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks. I'm sure there's been thanks, Jamie and Gail. Awesome. All right. Well, I am going to proceed. Just let us know your name, role, and organization. Hi, Jane. Jane's from Rincon. Good to see you. Mary, good to see you from Danville Area Community College. Gail, welcome, Gail, Program Manager for Women's Innovation Group, Jaton. Also from Women's Innovation Group, Sarah Cleveland from Rock Island, Tri-County Consortium. We got 15 folks on the line right now. If you're just joining us, can you join us in Mentimeter? You can join us in by phone or by opening another browser in your internet, menti.com, and you can use code 7841-8624. It's here at the top of the screen. Maybe what we can do so we can move on. I know I might chat up. Maybe people can also. We've got some folks in the chat. Thank you. Chantrell can't hear. I don't know if Gia, if you're able to help her with that. And okay, great. Jeff is helping. All right, Robert Torres, welcome. Jaria from Awaken. All right, good to see everybody here. Let me keep going here. Oop, wrong way. And now we've got on the Mentimeter, what would you like to get out of today's session? And if you're just like, hey, I'm open, I don't know what I don't know, just say not sure. Just let us know. Great. Understand guidelines. We're absolutely going to be doing that in today's session. Who else? What would you like to get out of this session? All the information you can get. Love it. A better understanding of this process. Great. And we'll be walking through it step by step. And if you have any questions along the way, please ask your questions. This seminar is for you. What are the training requirements? We're absolutely going to be covering that. What do you have to do? Yeah, what are the minimum best practices, understand requirements? All right, there seems to be a consensus here, overview and better overall understanding. That's really great. That is what we are doing here today. You want to learn more about the different types of training and guidelines. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep moving. As a grantee, Jeff, am I supposed to be doing this now?
Nope, that comes in a little bit later.
Okay, great. We're going to stop with that. I am going to switch back to the PowerPoint and we're going to move on. And Jeff is going to take over from here.
Yeah, there we go. Hi, everyone. Really glad to be with you again. I'm going to start here with section 3, organizational structure of Illinois Works. So we're going to do a little bit of background. We're going to step back just a minute, kind of tie back into some of the things Anna covered, and then we'll move forward. So by the end of this section, you should be able to articulate Governor Pritzker's historic 45 billion capital plan and the role in the creation of Illinois Works, explain the role of Illinois Works Job Program Act, list the 3 Illinois Works key programs, and then describe the primary characteristics of the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program, identify the Illinois Works goals, and access the 2024 Illinois Grantee Manual. That right there, priceless. Definitely want you to be able to access that and identify members of the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship team that we keep talking about. We have a team behind this presentation today. And if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. So we're going to start by laying the foundation. Here's where we're headed. This is what this program's about. It's a great reminder of why we're here. So Illinois Works was created as a result of Governor Pritzker's historic 45 billion campaign and plan to rebuild Illinois. And his commitment to expanding equity in the Illinois construction workforce, Anna mentioned that just a little bit ago. And this is a top priority for the governor's 5-year economic plan. And with this, new capital funding is set to pave the way for tens of thousands of jobs over the next decade. And the Illinois Works Job Act was intentionally designed to increase equity and opportunity in the capital construction jobs. If you'd like to see a copy of Governor Pritzker's 5-year economic plan, a link to the plan is being shared with you in the chat. The intention of this effort really is to reinvigorate the workforce of Illinois for the future. So the passing of the Illinois Works Job Act led the creation of the Office of Illinois Works, a new bureau within the DECO tasked with the responsibility of implementing the Illinois Works program. So that's the link again being posted out there. The Illinois Works Job Act the Illinois Works Job Program Act is a statewide initiative to ensure that all Illinois residents have access to state capital projects, careers in the construction industry, and the building trades. The goal is to provide contracting and employment opportunities to historically underrepresented populations of the construction industry. So if you'd like, again, to access the Illinois Works Job Program Act, a link to that act is now going to be added into the chat so that you can look out and read more about that program act. So there are 3 key programs. The Illinois Works is an innovative workforce development model. And the Office of Illinois Works, with the support and partnerships of communities, the building trades, the construction industry, and grantees like you, are delivering the following 3 key programs. We do this together. The Illinois Works Apprenticeship Program, it creates demand for jobs. That's why it was created. The Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, it creates the talent pipeline. We're talking about that today. And the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program provides incentives to hire and to retain our graduates. And the Illinois Works Career Services Program really is that glue that holds it all together. They play a key role in supporting and connecting program graduates with contractors. Illinois Works, again, it's a one of a kind initiative and is really unique position to make a big difference. You're going to learn more about that relationship, and you can go out and learn more about it from different programs. But there's one on the 3 key Illinois Works programs in the Introduction to Illinois Works and its programs webinar. So check those webinar resources and you can learn more. The Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program Summary. So the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, it creates a pipeline of diverse candidates. Again, that's what it's here for, to help respond to demand within construction industry and the building trades. In summary, the program provides the pre-apprenticeship skills training through a network of community-based organizations. These can even include community colleges. And one key note is that we only fund programs that provide training, not just supporting services, okay? Preference is always given to underrepresented populations that have historically encountered barriers to easy or advancement opportunities in the trades, including minorities, women, and veterans. Underrepresented populations are the focus, but not exclusively. So we will serve any Illinois resident in need. Free tuition and a stipend to participants who attend the program. $25 million is appropriated Illinois Works funds for the grant program, and we expect to receive this funding for years to come, making the program the first financially sustainable pre-apprenticeship program in the state. The Illinois Works program goals, let's talk about this. If we achieve our Illinois Works goals, we'll have successfully partnered with community stakeholders to provide a career pathway for residents in disadvantaged communities, provide eligible apprentices with the skills for lifelong job security, promote construction as a viable job industry for women and minority communities, provide the construction industry with a consistent and skilled workforce for generations to come, and lastly, create new partnerships between state agencies and community organizations. These are big goals. So I have a question for you. We're going to use Mentimeter again. So you want to again go out there to that mentimeter.com. And I've got a question for you. So hopefully you stay logged. You'll want to stay logged into this, by the way, through this session. We're going to bounce back and forth. But I do have a question for you. As a grantee, how does your organization connect with these goals? What is your organization doing to connect with these goals that Illinois Works has? So throw out there your responses to how does your organization specifically connect? And I know being newer to the group here, I always find this very interesting because I always love to hear the passion and from you and the populations you're serving, and the goals that you have as well. All right, so we have one response here. We work to bring in the target populations to our program. So specifically the minority communities that are underrepresented. We have marketed to the target audience, yep, outlined the goals. We partner with schools with construction programs to help extend their in-school learning to OJT training and apprenticeship opportunities. And our goals align with Illinois Works to promote quality of life, absolutely, including economic opportunities in the communities we serve. I love that. And it's so easy to get really passionate about these. You guys are making such a huge difference. We're invested in our communities, absolutely. You are taking this down to the community level and making a difference by providing the training, the students to prepare them for apprenticeships. Yes. Successfully working certifications that align with Illinois Works goals, absolutely. Certifications can unlock so many opportunities for these graduates. It's a great benefit. Work to make a difference in the communities. Yes, absolutely. So I really appreciate, thank you for taking time to share that. Again, it's what you've shared is the success of this program is critical for our communities. It's critical for businesses in these communities, and it's critical to those employed by these businesses. Together, we're making that unique position and a significant difference. And again, if I could do an applause for everybody, that's what we do right now. Thank you for the work and the difference you're making in day to day. So let's hop back into the presentation, Anna. So the 2024 Grantee Manual, again, I mentioned it earlier. If you don't know how to find this, this is one you need to get. You need to know this. Most of you, though, are already familiar with it, but the 2024 Grantee Manual is the resource for instructions, guidance, tools, expectations for program designs, implementation, and delivery. It's your one-stop shop. It's got everything you need there. It really is a great answer for most of your questions that you'll find just right there in that manual. So a link is being shared there in the chat. And you'll notice the references to this document during this session and most of our Illinois Works trainings. We're going to constantly be going back to it and saying you can go here in this section and find more about. But if you haven't accessed this document, open it up. You might want to take a little bit of time, read through it, it's really, I find it is a great answer guide versus just reading front end to back. What's really good is if you have a particular need or question, just diving into it in that way. So check out that 2024 Grantee Manual. The Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship team, we mentioned Illinois Works has a team of passionate experts committed to supporting your pre-apprenticeship program success. It starts with Dr. Norman Ruano, our Deputy Director of Illinois Works. Mr. Dan Martinez, a grant manager for us, as well as Ms. LaMonica Pruitt. She's a grant manager. And then we have on the call today, Dr. Anna Bedard, training analyst and program coach. Myself, Dr. Carlita Alston is not able to be with us, at least last I checked. She's another one of our training analysts and program coaches. And then, of course, Dr. Gia Suggs, our professional development lead and training analyst and program coach. So there's also a team like this that's accountable for the apprenticeship initiatives, and teams that are accountable for the bid credit program and helping support all of the different programs within Illinois Works. So let me pause there. We've given the context and orientation to this session of like, where's where we're headed. This is what we're trying to do with all of this. Are there any questions before we move on to the next section? If so, you can post those in chat. All right, I'm not seeing any in chat, so we'll move ahead. Section 4, the Illinois Works curriculum. I know a lot of you, that's why you're here. So, by the end of the section, you're going to be able to reference the training, instruction, and certification section of the 2024 Grantee Manual, locate the training on the pre-apprenticeship life cycle, identify in-scope and out-of-scope activities for the pre-apprenticeship curriculum, describe the Illinois Works curriculum approval process, differentiate between program accreditation and instructor certification, and then reference the instructor and instructor profile. So that's our goal for this section. The 2024 Illinois Works Grantee Manual, again, provides your guidance, instructions, tools, templates, a sample documents to assist your program with successfully and effectively implementing the Illinois Works pre-apprentice life cycle. Section 7 of the manual, it outlines the guidance regarding training. A lot of our content from today is going to be pulled from that section. And it covers program orientation, curriculum expectations, evaluation, instruction, as well as much of what we're going to cover again in our program today. The pre-apprenticeship life cycle, the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship life program requirements are organized into what we call this pre-apprentice life cycle. You'll hear me talk about that. You probably have heard it several times. We keep trying to reinforce it. So let's find, where does training tie in, right? Training fits into this life cycle. And you can see as you move through the program, it just follows right along with the student. It tracks participant progress from the initial program outreach to post-transition follow-up. Training is a part of the life cycle, and each stage demonstrates an integral process step in preparing participants to enroll in a DOL registered apprenticeship program. Now, I'm fairly new to the organization, and we use acronyms. You're going to hear RAP, okay, an RAP, that is a registered apprenticeship program, if you hear that again, which is the primary goal of the Illinois Works, and that's why Illinois Works exists, is to enroll these students into these programs. You can see here on the screen, again, where training ties in on the life cycle. And the 2024 manual, grantee manual, it provides the guidance for all of the life cycle phases. Each phase, you can find information there. Staying in scope. Now, it's critically important that programs stay in scope, that your program stays in scope. The overarching focus of the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program is to fund programs that target underrepresented populations and successfully transition graduates into the DOL registered pre-apprenticeship programs. These RAPs, RAPs in construction and buildings trades. The Illinois Works funds should be used within the scope of this goal. All right, pre-apprenticeship curriculums must offer a minimum of 177 hours of instruction. Okay, that's the minimum. Not to exceed 300 hours of instruction, unless it is specifically approved by Illinois Works. So you'll want to check in if you think you were going to exceed that 300 hours. Participant program completion is connected to the number of hours that you determine is necessary for their program. So breaks during instruction do not count as a part of instruction time. So we start talking about instruction time, if you take the break, that is not a part of that instruction time. You cannot include it. It has to be focused on instruction. So required instruction, what is it? Instruction must include the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program orientation, which is a required 4 hours. Introduction to constructions and trades, that's required. construction math, which is 40 hours required. Now, one thing to note here, if you're using the NCCER Introduction to Construction Math, it offers 10 hours of instruction. So Illinois Works minimum required standard, though, for the math curriculum is 40 hours. Now we have a gap, right? Therefore, that 30 hours of supplemental math and instruction is going to be required to meet the Illinois Works minimum standard. You're going to need to add in that additional 30 hours. And we recommend the grantees use the following NCCER supplemental mathematics course. It's an applied mathematics course through NCCER, and that makes up that difference. The Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship certifications are required, and again, such as Trades Futures, that was formerly, you may have known it as NABTU, although most of us probably now all know it as Trades Futures, or NCCER that I mentioned just a minute ago, or ICCB, or other construction curriculum approved by Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program. So there's one of these Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship certifications has to be included. It's required. The OSHA 10 requirement as well, or approved NCCER Career Safe OSHA 10. Now, NCCER has a Career Safe OSHA 10 certification as an asynchronous curriculum. For the Illinois Works to accept the Career Safe to fulfill OSHA 10 certification requirement is required for grantees to ensure the Career Safe instruction is taught in person in an interactive format, and it must be facilitated by an NCCER certified instructor with the required knowledge, experience, training in construction safety practices. All right, so just a call out, if you are using the NCCER Safe Career Safe OSHA 10, you meet these additional requirements. If you use it as is asynchronous, that will not work. The first aid and CPR is required. Also, other nationally recognized certifications if needed. Soft skills based in Illinois Essential Employability Skills Framework, 32 to 40 hours are required. Test taking skills, 4 hours required. And work-based job site learning, 10 to 50 hours required. Now, Illinois Works has an exception for the Illinois Works job site learning that would allow for programs to plan for registered apprenticeship programs, those RAPs, visits instead of actual hands-on instruction. Please note that this is an exception and must be pre-approved. For additional information, check Section 7 of the Training Instruction Certifications in the 2024 Grantee Manual. Now, instruction must include an orientation, we mentioned that earlier, which is part of the 177 instructional hours. So you might wonder, well, then what's out of scope? Well, the 177 hours of instruction do not include the items below on this slide. They are not considered instruction. So wraparound services is not considered instruction. Student support services, transition services, follow-up activities, complementary education, ACT preparatory training, college fairs, and other similar activities are not included, cannot be included as instruction. They're not considered instruction. It is also important to note that complementary education and support activities such as GED courses, ACT, preparatory training, college fairs, and other similar services and activities are outside of the goals and scope of the Illinois Works funding. Okay. Are there any content sections your organization is considering that you would like to know if it qualifies as part of the 177 instructional hours? If so, you can respond to that in chat. Just drop a note in chat right now if you are curious about that, and I will respond to that. Any questions of something that might be you look considering outside of scope? You're wondering, is it out of scope or not?
Yet.
There are no questions in the chat so
Okay.
far, Jeff.
All right, great. We'll keep moving. And Anna, see
I
a note.
do. I'm just taking up longer to talk. I'm sorry. This is Gail.
Hey,
I
Gail.
guess I can put myself on the thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So we have an opportunity with our instructors that our students can get an additional certification in the construction world of lead. So they can take an 8-hour class that can give them a understanding of the old buildings, how to make sure if how to get the lead out of the houses or the buildings and things like that. Would that be considered? I needed to email about that, but since I'm on this
Yeah,
call,
might as well ask, right?
yes.
Thanks, Gail. Thanks for that question. So, other nationally recognized certifications can be included, and I don't know enough about that certification to know if it meets the standards, but there's if it falls into that category, it could be approved. So, it is one we're still going to need to get more information on from you, Gail, to make that decision.
I
But
will
other,
email all the information today to Norman because
that's
that's what I
great.
had said I needed to do. I just been in
Yes,
report
yes.
mode. Sorry, end of the
No,
month.
and thank you for thinking of those because
Yes.
definitely other nationally recognized certifications, if needed, should be added in to help our students. So that's great to be thinking of.
Well, I
Yeah.
do know it's one that, and this is my last statement, that the construction world uses,
Mhm.
and it's needed. Someone on a job has to have this when they're going into the buildings.
Yep.
So,
Great. Yeah. So we'll get that information on it, and that'll help us evaluate that certification. Um, so thank you. Great question. All right. I'm not seeing any others. We'll keep moving here on. So again, the revisit the 2024 grantee manual for more information regarding any of these um, points that we've been talking about. Curriculum approval. At this point, it's likely that your program already has submitted their pre-apprenticeship curriculum for approval. Approvals must be obtained prior to implementation, and the Illinois Works curriculum approval process has two components. The grantee first submission of the Exhibit 10 final curriculum form, and the curriculum is then approved and entered into the IWRS by the grant manager, along with uploading the final curriculum form, which is that Exhibit 10 in the grantee manual. The 2024 grantee manual provides a sample curriculum for the grantees to use and is available in the appendix of the manual. So in the back of the manual, you'll see there's a lot of different templates, and template 17 has the sample Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program, and that's where you can reference that I just talked about. So curriculum criteria. For many of you, curriculum requirements were part of your grant negotiations, and a curriculum criteria includes it must be industry recognized, it must produce nationally recognized credentials, and it must abide by Illinois Works approved curriculum design standards. The final curriculum form is generated by the Illinois Works. So the form will be sent to the program administrators and then is used to confirm training services titles, hours per module, and confirmation of the student's evaluation will then be provided per training service. This form is created by the Illinois Works grant manager after the grantee submits the proposed curriculum, and it is preliminarily approved. Upon approval, the final curriculum form, the Illinois Works grant manager will upload a copy of the form into the grantee's provider's info page in IWRS, and then after adding training services to the grantee's provider info page, the grant manager will send a signed copy of the final curriculum form to the grantee. Okay, you get that sent to you. An Illinois Works grant manager will also enter the approved curriculum in the IWRS for the grantee and let the grantee know when they are ready to enroll participants into their cohorts. The pre-apprenticeship curriculum must be, again, a minimum of 177 hours of instruction and should not exceed 300 hours of instruction. Unless approved by Illinois Works, this must include a minimum of 32 hours of employability skills. We'll discuss this more in the employability skills and the Illinois Works guidance later in the course. So we're going to break those down and talk about those. All right, program accreditation versus instructor certification. Now, many curriculums require compliance with two components. Program accreditation, and this is the assessment process used to ensure the competence of the training or educational program being provided by an organization meets acceptable levels of quality, it complies with standards, and it stays within scope of the accrediting body's expectations. Okay, while program accreditation may be required, it can be partial. Once an organization is accredited, they still may require that instructors receive relevant certifications. Now, instructor certification is credentialing, also known as just a certification. We've talked about those. It's the process of evaluating an individual's knowledge and skills against a specific professional standard. Now, certified instructors are individuals that have met the minimum criteria outlined by the certifying body and are now qualified to deliver specific instructional content. For the purposes of Illinois Works, the certifying body for instructor is the program accrediting agency. It's like NCCER or Trades Futures and ICCB. Now, one note, for ICCB, they do not have to take certification courses. The certified trainers, instructors don't have to, but they must meet certain levels of academic credentials. Okay, so ICCB defines it through academic credentials. The instructor profile. Now, on this slide, it's going to show you there are recommended minimum requirements for instructors. I want you to understand. One, Illinois Works recommends that instructors have in-depth knowledge of the subject matter, their subject matter expertise, right? They're subject matter experts. They know what they're talking about. They have a strong communication skills and effectively convey information to students. Not everyone is equipped with that gift of communication, but they could be a subject matter expert. So we want them to have both subject matter expertise and strong communication skills. They're an expert in adult learning principles. They have the ability to engage students and create positive learning environment. They have flexibility to adapt to different learning styles and student needs in their groups. Organizational skills to manage courses and materials and assignments. They have creativity to design innovative teaching methods and activities. They have patience and compassion to work with students from diverse backgrounds. They have dedication to ongoing professional development and staying up to date on current research trends. And they have the ability to provide constructive feedback and support for students. They also should show a strong work ethic and commitment to student success. They should have a minimum of 5 years of practical experience in the practice area and a minimum of 3 years training or instructional experience. Though these are Illinois Works recommended requirements, certifying bodies may have their own criteria for instructors, which they are accountable for complying with. So you need to check with your certifying body around what specific requirements they would have as well. We also want them to make sure that these instructors possess the required certifications and credentials to serve as an instructor for the respected curriculum. That's your responsibility to make sure that. So let me pause there and ask, are there any questions before we move on to the next section? If so, feel free to post that into chat. And if need be, you can come off mute. We're a small enough group and just share your question.
So, Jeff, there is a question in the chat, but it may have been posted prior to this section. So Jaria is asking, will this be shared in an email? And Jaria, if you could specify what information you are inquiring about? Jaria, you can type it in chat, or you are free to also just come off mute. Okay, I will follow up with her privately, Jeff.
Thanks.
And
Yeah.
Pose it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. If it helps everybody, let's ask it and make sure we cover that. Thank you, Gia.
Okay.
Right. Not seeing any others in there. So we're going to move on. All right. Let's see, how are we doing on time here? We doing good? I think we're doing really well.
Yep, so far, so good.
So should we keep moving, Gia?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So let's go on to section 5, the Illinois Works pre-approved curriculum. By the end of this section, we want you to be able to identify Illinois Works approved construction curricula. We want you to know what those are. We want you to access program accreditation and instructor certification information. And we want you to be able to comply with the Illinois Works guidance regarding curriculum implementation and instruction and access the Illinois Works coaching support. So, the construction curricula. Illinois Works requires a pre-apprenticeship programs deliver a construction curriculum. There are 3 approved construction curricula: Trades Futures, formerly NABTU, the NCCER, and ICCB. Okay. If a grantee is interested in delivering a construction curriculum that is not currently approved, one of these 3, Illinois Works allows grantees to submit a construction curriculum for approval, and the program delivery, though, cannot occur without prior approval. You can't move forward until you have that approval if you go outside of one of these 3. So I have a question for you in Mentimeter. Using Mentimeter, which construction curriculum is your organization using or planning to use? Now, this is really helpful for me. I'm curious because we're going to dive into these and I want to make sure I know which ones you're using. So again, go out to menti.com and back in, if you're there, you have it. And you can answer this question. Which construction curriculum is your organization using or planning to use? All right. Thank you. They're getting some responses coming in. Right now, NCCER and ICB are the 2 in use. Please go into Mentimeter and share your curriculum. This is going to help me as we dive into the rest of the presentation here. I'm going to make sure we talk about those. So it looks like we have 1 for the trades futures, a few for NCCER, and 1 for ICCB. So well, that's great. We have all 3 represented. That's awesome. And if you haven't already, please do drop it in there. Just get a feel for the group today. All right. Let's move ahead. So great. Again, thank you for your responses. This is really helpful. So trades futures, let's jump in there to start with. Formerly NABTU. For those who are unfamiliar with NABTU, as of February 2023, North America's building trade unions gifted the multi-craft core curriculum MC3 to Trades Futures. Okay, Trades Futures has a new website as well, and a link to their new website is being shared with you in the chat, so that those that have curiosity, want to know more about Trades Futures, you can go there and learn more. Those that are already using it, I'm sure you have access to this. But the Trades Futures overview, it's produced by labor unions. Trades Futures is a nonprofit corporation organized for the purpose of developing, promoting, and improving apprenticeship readiness programs. And these are ARPs, Apprenticeship Readiness Programs. ARPs are educational programs that provide students with fundamental skills and knowledge necessary to choose, obtain, and succeed in formal registered apprenticeship programs in the construction industry. Trades Futures sponsors comprehensive apprenticeship readiness programs throughout the United States, and these programs provide a gateway for local residents focusing on women and people of color and transitioning veterans to gain access to the building trades registered apprenticeship programs. ARPs are administered by the state and local building trade councils, and they teach the nationally recognized multi-craft core curriculum, that MC3. It's a standardized, comprehensive 120-hour construction course designed to help young people and transitioning adults and succeed in apprenticeship programs. There are 9 units in the MC3. It requires orientation and industry awareness. That's 16 hours. It includes construction industry overview, 8 hours, and the building trades apprenticeship, 8 hours. Construction health and safety is 20 hours. It includes CPR, first aid, 8 hours, OSHA 10 hours, and women's health and safety, 2 hours. It includes tools and materials, 8 hours, and it must include a hands-on component for that. Construction math of 40 hours, heritage of the American worker, 8 hours, and diversity in the construction industry, 12 hours. It includes diversity awareness, 4 hours, and sexual harassment 8 hours that make up that 12. It has electives as well: blueprint reading, 4 hours to 16 hours, green construction, 4 to 8 hours, and financial literacy, 4 to 8 hours. The elective modules above are actually required by Illinois Works. The Trades Future MC3 must be a minimum of 120 hours. However, programs may add more hours at their discretion. Grantees must administer the Trades Future MC3 curriculum as originally designed. Illinois Works will not accept Trades Futures MC3 certifications where curriculum modifications have been negotiated. So the MC3 curriculum can be taught face-to-face, asynchronously, or throughout a hybrid model delivered via the Trades Future online learning management system. You can use the Trades Future online management system, but you cannot count those hours towards their curriculum. They can use the OLMS for student support services like tutoring or additional education support, practice questions, but just understand that those hours will not be counted toward curriculum or stipends. If technology is used to deliver some of the instruction, it must be synchronous at the same time, and all hands-on practice, lab work site instruction must be face-to-face. All right. Trades Futures accreditation and certification process. The program accreditation process involves a rigorous evaluation of training programs and facilities. The program accreditation is granted to programs that meet Trades Futures high standards for quality, safety, and effectiveness. The process includes a comprehensive review of program curriculum, instructor qualifications, and facility resources. And once accredited, programs are monitored regularly to ensure continued compliance with Trades Futures standards. So it's not a one and done. There's ongoing monitoring. To become accredited by Trades Futures, an organization needs to obtain approval from your local or state building and construction trades council to implement the multi-craft core curriculum, that MC3, into your pre-apprenticeship or apprenticeship readiness program. Now, you want to make sure you also have your council leader directly contact the Trades Futures or provide formal approval letter or email to be submitted to Trades Futures. Okay. Trades Futures does not sign collective bargaining agreements with organizations. They are not a labor union. They work with local building and construction trade councils to approve apprenticeship readiness programs, which work to place participants with their affiliated building trades unions registered apprenticeship programs. So that's all that step one. Step two, they want to sign and complete the Trades Futures MC3 implementation plan and licensing agreement documents. These documents will be provided to you after your Trades Futures receives the approval from your Building Trades Council. So it goes back to that as a starting point. And then you submit completed documents to the Trades Futures for review and approval. And then if approved, you can move forward with the MC3 curriculum implementation, instructor certification, and enrollment of participants. But keep in mind that specific requirements for program accreditation may vary depending on the type of organization, the region in which it operates. The instructor certification within Trades Futures offers a fully online instructor certification course. The Building Trades Academy 107 Multi-Craft Core Curriculum, that MC3 online Train the Trainer. This class is offered via Zoom, and it'll be introduce instructors to the MC3. It also introduces them previously trained instructors to the new online format, and it includes full group sessions, small group sessions, and individual work. We are now going to share a link in the chat to the Trades Future online MC3 Train the Trainer registration information for their instructor certification course. Trades Futures and our Illinois Works guidance. We suggest you must be delivered as originally designed. Although Trades Futures may grant permissions for modifications, this will not be accepted by Illinois Works. The most current version and edition of the curriculum must be delivered. Although this curriculum includes soft employability skills, grantees are still accountable for delivering a minimum of 32 hours of employability skills and training hours. You must comply with the Trades Futures testing and evaluation requirements, and you must also comply with the Illinois Works testing requirements. If Illinois Works requirements exceed trades futures built-in tools, grantees are expected to create tools, i.e. post tests, to supplement what is already built in. You must have access to online testing and evaluations resources. So understand that the link to the Trades Futures FAQ is going to be shared with you, and you can go out and find additional questions, answers to questions you may have as well. Our contact person for the Trades Futures is Nicole Schwartz. She's the executive director. We are now going to share her information as well. And both Nicole and Jack from Trades Futures were invited to be a part of the session. If you guys are online, could you come off mute and just say hi? I don't know if they were able to. I can't see in the group if they made it. Oh, okay. Well, we'll move ahead here. So, question for you. Now, this one we can just put here in chat. I've got a question for you. If you are using the Trades Futures program, please raise your hand. Let me know. Let us know. And I'd like to know someone that is using the Trades Future curriculum. You can just post into chat. We're using it. Which organization that is. That would help us out. So I know we have at least one, I think, online that's using Trades Futures. You can just post that into chat here. Let us know who you are and let the group know. We'd like to ask you just a couple quick questions about your use of Trades Futures. Share about how long the process took, what you appreciated about the curriculum, and what or if any challenges you may have. All right. I'm not seeing any brave volunteers coming offline, coming online to offer up, but we'd love to have just a quick learn a little bit about the Trades Futures from one of our grantees. Love to hear your perspectives. All right, we're going to move ahead. I know there was just the one that was there. I'm not seeing it. Did I miss anything, Gia or Anna?
No, that person, that person who acknowledged it before, I don't see any raised hands or comments in the chat. So,
Okay, great. All right.
yeah.
Thank you. So let's move on. This is now we're going to talk about the NCCER National Center for Construction, Education, and Research. It's the next one in the approved curriculum. It's a not-for-profit profile 501c3 education foundation. You can kind of think of it at NCCER as the non-union equivalent of the Trades Futures. Okay. NCCER overview. In collaboration with the construction CEOs, associations, and academic leaders, NCCER worked to revolutionize training for the construction industry. And their efforts resulted in several components which are key construction industry workforce development efforts, including program accreditation, instructor certification, standardized training curriculum, registry system, assessment, and student certifications. NCCER's standardized training and credentialing programs target aspiring industry professionals. Students start with the NCCER core, and then the NCCER core is like a prerequisite to then all of their other curriculum content. If the grantees choose NCCER as your construction curriculum, the Illinois Works requirement is to only deliver the NCCER core curriculum. Okay, and this is the 6th edition version. A link to the core craft catalog is being provided to you into the chat. The NCCR core curriculum 6th edition includes basic safety, 12.5 hours, introduction to construction math, 10 hours, introduction to hand tool, 12.5 hours, introduction to power tools, 10 hours, introduction to construction drawings, 10 hours, basic communication skills, 7.5 hours, basic employability skills, 7.5 hours, introduction to material handling, 5 hours. And then they also offer a couple of electives, build your future in construction, 2.5 hours, and introduction to basic rigging, 7.5 hours. Now, under the NCCER core, those elective modules Uh, the Build Your Future in Construction and Introduction to Basic Rigging are required for Illinois Works. Even though NCCER calls them electives, for Illinois Works, they are required. The recommended core curriculum hours are for the knowledge, classroom instruction portion of the training. The hands-on training and performance evaluations make up the other total hours of 177, okay, as required by the guidelines. Be aware that the NCCER elective modules are required for Illinois Works. NCCER offers several supplemental training modules as well that can help participants increase their skill sets in specific areas like applied construction math, which we know is a common challenge, basic safety, tools for success, and your role in the green environment. These are not required by Illinois Works, but we do recommend the Applied Construction Math Supplement for grantees seeking to increase their math curriculum to reach that 40 hours. We are sharing a link regarding their Applied Construction Math in the chat now. You can use this curriculum for the 40 hours of construction math. Again, although NCCR has for more than 70 different craft areas beyond the core curriculum, they are not required nor appropriate for Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program, and thus should not be delivered as part of the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program. So it's bigger than what is required or encouraged. The NCCER program accreditation offers two designations: the Accredited Training Program, an ATP, is an entity accredited by NCCER to deliver the NCCER training program and provide industry recognized credentials. In order to become an ATP accredited training program, organizations must have been in business for at least 12 months prior to the application date. Organizations must have a commercial business address. Home addresses are not accepted. Organizations must have appropriate facilities and equipment to deliver the training. You must sign an integrity, security, and confidentiality agreement acknowledging that the organization understands and agrees to all the policies and requirements and accreditation standards. You must provide contact information for an executive representative and must work with the Illinois Works approved NCCER contact. And we'll be sharing in the chat a little bit later that contact information. The complete process for the ATP status requires a simple online application process, including 10 hours of online program management training through the NCCER Learning Management System. The complete accreditation process takes about 2 to 4 weeks to complete. And once the application has been received, the fee is paid, the relevant training has been completed, accredited training programs are granted candidate status. Now, during this candidate status, organizations can begin training programs by certifying instructors and other instructional support roles like a test proctor and begin enrolling students into the NCCER training cohorts. Registered training programs, or RTPs, formerly called training units. These are registered training programs. They are and need to be connected to an NCCER accredited training program. So if you go down this other route of using the RTP approach, you need to be connected with an ATP, an accredited training program, and they become the sponsor, and you work under their umbrella. If an organization does not have ATP status, you can still deliver the NCCER as a registered training program. Organizations working with an existing NCCER ATP organization need to register their program using the NCCER program registration form. The link to the form is now being shared in the chat for those of you that need to do that. A registered training program is a commercial physical training location. Think of like a job site, office, correctional facility, high school, college, etc. Working under an ATP, delivering the NCCER training for credentials. That's what is a registered training program. It's a requirement that the ATP and RTPs have signed memorandums of understanding that outline the agreed responsibilities of each party as relative to the policies and procedures set forth in their guidelines. These include requirements for the audit of the location, the evaluation of instructors, curriculum performance evaluations, module test protocols, and sharing of these records as appropriate, outlining of industry field trips and visits to classrooms if appropriate, among others. An RTP must be approved by the training program director, and you may have heard that locally. You may have called, they used to be called sponsor representative. Now they're calling that the training program director, or the manager, who was formerly called the secondary representative. So an RTP must be approved by a training program director or manager. Registration of a training program must be approved by the training program director or manager. More information, you can go to a link that we're going to drop into chat to get more information on that training program director and manager role. Also, for additional information on the most current NCCER accreditation standards for training, a link is being shared in the chat as well for their requirements. So let's talk instructor certification. The instructor is an individual who meets the required qualifications as stated in the accreditation standards and is approved to conduct training for the accredited training program or a registered training program. NCCER training is required. Instructor eligibility requirements are the training program director or manager of the accredited training program or the program contact at the registered training program are responsible for collecting, maintaining, and validating documentation and experience. The training program director, manager, or program contact must ensure that the individual has the appropriate qualifications and or time in the field to teach the modules and or levels of the craft they are being approved to teach. This could mean that an individual with 2 years of field experience and a validated resume could be qualified to teach the core and level 1 or level 2 of a craft title. If an individual is going to be approved to teach all the levels of a craft, they must possess at least one of the following: experience at a minimum journey or licensed technician level for at least 4 years in the specific craft, or they are going to teach or a minimum of 3 years experience as a certified teacher in a vocational technical construction and maintenance related training program in the specific craft that they're going to teach. The NCCER Instructor Certification Program is an online program now delivered directly through the NCCER Learning Management System. This online blended course provides information on policies and procedures and systems training needed to operate the NCCER accredited programs and appropriately provide required instruction for credentialing and testing for learners. Full instructor certification training program, non-certified instructors, that's 16 hours, includes teaching, pedagogy, and instruction, and an abbreviated ICTP, which is Instructor Certification Training Program, certified educators, and that has 4 hours and then bypasses the pedagogy instruction. So just understand those differences. And the ICTP was developed as part of the program accreditation process. It ensures there's a uniform and consistent delivery of training. That's something new. All individuals who completed the master training certification, and I know we have them as grantees, I've met some of you, prior to June of 2022, you will be able to continue to function in that capacity. However, it is important to note that this role has been discontinued for future certification credentials after June of 2022. For more information regarding the course offerings, we're sharing a link and contact information in the chat now. The link for the NCCER course offerings is going into the chat. The Illinois Works guidance. We suggest, again, that for the NCCER, it must be delivered as originally designed. Illinois Works will not accept any modifications. The most current version of the edition of the curriculum must be delivered. That is the 6th edition. You must provide a minimum of 32 hours of employability skills above NCCER's current curriculum. NCCER has a Spanish language instructional materials available. However, Illinois Works requires instructional content to be delivered in English. Outreach and recruitment activities can be tailored to the language of a specific target audience. The criterion is only relevant to the instruction. You must comply with NCCER's testing and evaluation requirements. You must also comply with the Illinois Works testing requirements. If Illinois Works requirement exceeds the NCCER's build and tools, grantees are expected to create tools, i.e. post-test, to supplement what is already built in. You must have access to online testing evaluations and resources. And if utilizing the NCCER Career Safe OSHA 10 curriculum, you must provide in person must be provided in person by a certified NCCER instructor. You must use the 6th edition of the NCCER Core Introduction to Basic Construction Skills, which also incorporates the Career Safe's OSHA 10 construction training into the lesson plan. But extra instructional materials may be needed for the instructor to use in this class. A link to NCCER's facts on being shared in the chat. Again, you can find more information to questions you might have about the curriculum. Our contact person for NCCER is Brad Kibbe. Brad is not able to join us today, but we are sharing his information into the chat now for contacts and questions you have about the NCCER curriculum. So let me pause here too, and I want to ask some questions again. Who all is using the accredited NCCER program? I know we had like 7 of you using it. So can I get one of you or a few of you would raise your hand and say you're using it? Love to hear your experience on how long did it take? So Gail, I saw your thumbs up. If you don't mind just coming off mute
Okay.
and
Okay, yeah.
would you tell us a little bit about how long the process took?
It took a while, so I'm new to this entire program. Me and my staff had to just read all this because we had not got any training on it. I didn't have anyone to talk to
Mhm.
about it. So I actually called the NCCER. I reached out to them directly. They gave contacts. I just grassroots that way, and we were able to find actually an entire um, group of I don't know, group of people who actually teach through the Illinois Works, and we start interviewing, and I picked that way.
Awesome. So it sounds like you appreciated their kind of customer service.
They were very good
Yeah.
at that. They were very detailed. And they immediately told me where to look in Illinois because of course they're everywhere. Oh, sorry about that. They're everywhere.
Mhm.
So that's a issue right there. So
Yeah.
I had to, yeah.
Any other challenges that you came across or have come across with them?
Uh, no, I mean, I'm really happy with the instructors that we were able to
Great.
get, very happy. I talk to them daily. After the class, we go over things. That's how we even came up with the information for learning about the lead in the buildings, which, so I'm very happy with the team that I was able to pull together.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, Gail, for sharing your experiences. So again, thank you for that and taking that sharing. It's always great to hear firsthand someone that's using it. All right, let's move on. The Illinois Community College Board, ICCB.
Hey, Jeff, before
Oh,
we
yes.
move
Did we have
on,
a question? Yep.
well,
Sorry.
I wanted to let you know that Nicole from Trades Future has joined us. So I just wanted to
Oh,
give you an opportunity to
thank you.
open the floor for her. Yes.
Yeah, Nicole, would you mind coming off mute and or video and just saying hi to the grantees? So we had just gotten through covering the trades futures section, but would love to put a name with a face as far as the contact.
Hello, everyone. Um, I hope that your experience with the MC3 is a positive one, but if you have any suggestions, comments, concerns, feedback for us, we really do truly highly value your feedback because we want to make sure that using the MC3, the curriculum itself is adaptive and provides you with what you need. So please do not hesitate to reach out. I will stick around for a little bit. I've got about 45 minutes left. So if there's any kind of questions that anybody has, please do not hesitate to let me know.
Yeah, and since Nicole has offered too, we've got just a minute here. Anybody have a question for Nicole that you would like to know more about the trades futures? It's always nice to have our contact with us. And if not, you want to do it here, just feel free to go into chat, and you can private chat Nicole too. That's another way right here in the WebEx. So thank you, Nicole, for joining. I know you're hopping between meetings today, so appreciate you carving out some time to be with us. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to move ahead then back to the ICCB and continue. And thank you, Gia, for that. So ICCB is the regulating and funding body for community colleges. As an overview, in 1965, the Illinois General Assembly established the Illinois Community College Board, ICCB, to create a system of public community colleges that would be within easy reach of every resident. And more than 50 years later, the ICCB and the community college system covers the entire state with 48 colleges and one community college center and 39 community college districts. Community colleges serve nearly 1 million Illinois residents each year in credit and non-credit courses, and many more through the public service programs. The ICCB understands that community colleges are similar yet unique, and they share a common mission. However, what makes each college unique is how the college responds to the communities in which it serves. They can prepare people for college, for transfer to colleges, universities, or for good paying jobs that are in high demand skills. These activities include career and technical education. So this includes the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. Colleges have few curriculum options. They can design their own construction curriculum. If they decide to design their own construction curriculum, it must receive Illinois Works approval. For approval, it must comply with the Illinois Works construction curriculum standards that we've been covering. So ICCB approval, once approved, the college can deliver its construction curriculum and give applicable credits and credentials based on advanced certificates that are out there. If a community college designs their own construction curriculum, again, approval from both the ICCB and Illinois Works is required. While community colleges are welcome to create their own construction curriculum, they can also choose to implement one that Illinois Works approved, one of the approved construction curriculums, Trade Future or the NCCER. They are also welcome to identify a construction curriculum other than the Trades Future or NCCER, which must be submitted to Illinois Works for approval prior to delivery. For more information about the ICCB approval process, we're going to be sharing a link right now into chat and a link to the program approval manual that you can go out, and you want to see Chapter 2, Career and Technical Education. Okay. The Illinois Works guidance for ICCB. The approved version of the curriculum must be delivered without modification. You might hear that as a common theme for all of them. Must provide a minimum of 32 hours of employability skills above the approved ICCB's curriculum. If the curriculum does not include at least 32 hours. OSHA 10 and the first aid CPR certifications must be delivered as part of their curriculum. ICCB approved certificates do not generally include these credentials. You must also comply with ICCB's testing and evaluation requirements. Please note that the current curriculum complies with the Illinois Works evaluation guidance. ICCB's current curriculum does comply with our guidance. ICCB approved community colleges may choose to deliver Trades Futures or NCCER. And our contact person for the ICCB is Tricia Broughton, and we're sharing this information into chat now for you. If you have questions that you wanted to get in touch with them about the ICCB, you can do that directly through Tricia. Also, at this point, I would love to hear from, I know, again, we have at least one of you that are using the ICCB approved curriculum. I'd love to hear about how that experience is going. Could you give me a thumbs up or raise a hand if you're using ICCB and could talk about that experience? Sarah, thank you. If you don't mind coming off mute and and telling us a little bit about how long did the approval process take? What did they appreciate? What do you appreciated about it, or what challenges you may have faced?
So unfortunately, Blackhawk College is our training provider and they are not on this morning. And they could answer that question stronger than me. As a grantee, I feel like the process was pretty smooth. Building the schedule, getting everything approved on our end seems seamless.
Great. Have you encountered any challenges?
I think the biggest challenge was honestly finding the instructor and just figuring out how that's going to line up. But we did find a few. So
Good. Well, thank you, Sarah. Appreciate you doing that, jumping on, even though they're not here to answer and field that. So thank you.
Yep.
All right. Well, we have covered through those three curriculums, and we're going to now jump into the OSHA 10 CPR and first aid certifications. Okay. In addition to the construction curriculum, Illinois Works 177 hours of instruction must include OSHA 10 CPR and first aid certifications. Okay. The OSHA 10 certification, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, that's the OSHA, is a large regulatory agency of the United States Department of Labor. They ensure safe, helpful working conditions for workers by setting and enforcing standards and by providing training and outreach education and assistance. With the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970, Congress created the OSHA to ensure safe and healthy working conditions. The OSHA Act covers most private sector employers and their workers, in addition to some public sector employers and workers in the 50 states and certain territories and jurisdictions under federal authority. So they have a broad reach. As a note, these jurisdictions include the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, American Samoas, Guam, Northern Marina Islands, Wake Islands, Johnston Island, and other continental shelf lands as defined in the Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act. So just a broad reach. OSHA requires employers to provide training to workers who face hazards on the job, and they help accomplish this by creating training materials, distributing training grants to nonprofit organizations, and providing training to authorized educational centers. The OSHA Outreach Training Program provides workers with the basic advanced training about common safety health hazards of the job. The OSHA 10 certification teaches basic safety and health information to entry workers in the construction industry. So part of the OSHA 10 outreach training program includes the following: serious workplace hazards, workers' rights, employer responsibilities, and how to file an OSHA complaint. So OSHA program accreditation, let's talk about that. The OSHA Training Institute, OTI, education centers are an extension of the OSHA Training Institute, which is the division within the Occupational Safety and Health organizations that serves as a primary training provider for OSHA. OTI targets the federal, state, and compliance officers and the state consultation program staff, but also provides training for federal personnel from agencies other than OSHA and private sector personnel on space available bases. The OTI education centers were formed as a national network of nonprofit organizations authorized by OSHA to deliver occupational safety and health training to public and private sector workers, supervisors, and employers on behalf of OSHA in response to demand. They also act as the authorizing training organizations. That's another acronym for you. ATO, authorizing training organizations, and the administering the outreach training program. The OTI education centers provide OSHA training not only at their location, but at their host training organizations throughout respective OSHA regions. The OTI education centers have the ability to deliver OSHA training for companies at their work site or on a contract basis. The OTI education centers are selected through a national competitive process, which is announced through a Federal Register Notice of Competition. To be eligible to apply to be considered as an OTI education center, organizations must be nonprofit organizations with demonstrated experience in delivering curriculum, delivering occupational safety and health training, and have appropriate training facilities. Authorized OTI education centers are selected for a period of 5 years. Now, for information regarding the OTI Education Center Notice of Competition and requests for applications, we're providing a link in the chat. Though accreditation as an OTI is possible, please hear me, it's not a requirement of Illinois Works. Illinois Works actually does not recommend becoming one of the centers for OSHA. What is most relevant is the information related to the instructor certification, which we're going to discuss. So instructor certification, only an OSHA authorized trainer could deliver an OSHA 10 instruction. Authorization includes the following prerequisites. Experience. They must have 5 years of construction safety experience. They must have a college degree in occupational safety and health, a certified safety professional, or a certified industrial hygienist designation may be substituted for 2 years of experience. They must obtain guidance on whether you meet this requirement from the OSHA Training Institute, where you want to take the training. So make sure you find out you've got these, the individuals have that experience. The training requirements, they must also complete the OSHA Course 500, which is the trainer course in OSHA standards for construction. A special emphasis is placed on those topics that are required in the 10 and the 30-hour programs, as well as those that are most hazardous. Course participants are briefed in effective instructional approaches and effective use of visual aids and handouts. These individuals must complete the OSHA course 510 as well. 510 is the occupational safety and health standards for the construction industry. This course covers OSHA policies and procedures and standards, as well as construction safety and health principles. A special emphasis is placed on those topics that are required in the 10 and 30-hour programs, as well as those that are most hazardous. Course participants are briefed in effective instructional approaches and effective use in visual aids handouts. Now, you may not substitute one prerequisite to fill the other prerequisite. OSHA does not issue waivers for either experience or training. It requires both. The experience requirements and successful completion of training requirements can result in an authorized construction trainer card. This is through the U.S. Department of Labor. The trainer course is provided at the OSHA Training Institute education centers, and each OSHA education center posts their course offerings, schedules, and location on their individual websites. Now, construction outreach trainers are authorized for 4 years, and besides being able to deliver OSHA instruction, authorized trainers may receive OSHA course completion cards for their students. For more information about OSHA Training Institute Education Centers, we're now providing a link in the chat for you to go out and read more about that. You can secure an OSHA 10 certified instructor by partnering with the organizations who have certified instructors. However, it's more expensive to do that. Illinois Works guidance and OSHA certification must be delivered as required by OSHA. Illinois Works will not accept any modifications. That's, again, a common theme. The materials used must be well designed and appropriate for the audience. Although OSHA provides some materials, they do not provide all of them for the required OSHA topics. Illinois Works requires that the 10-hour certification, the 30-hour or other certifications are not appropriate for the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program. This course is ideally delivered face-to-face. It can be delivered synchronously virtually. However, asynchronous instruction is not permitted. Again, synchronous is in live in person, asynchronous is self-paced. Must comply with the OSHA 10 testing and evaluation requirements. OSHA 10 current curriculum complies with the Illinois Works evaluation guidance, and it must comply with OSHA 100% attendance requirements. Some of Illinois Work modules have an 80% attendance threshold. However, grantees must comply with a certifying body's requirement. And for OSHA, that's 100% attendance requirements. We're sharing contact information now for two OTI education centers in Illinois in the chat. One is the National Safety Education Center at Northern Illinois University, and the other is the Construction Safety Council in Hillside, Illinois. Grantees should reach out to OSHA to gain certification for their instructors if instructors are not OSHA certified. All right, so let's have a question here. Do we have anybody that is a OSHA on this call here, this webinar, an OSHA certified instructor? If you are, raise your hand. Who's certified out there? We may not. Anybody? Am I seeing anybody? I don't see anybody in chat or no thumbs
Yeah,
up.
Tony
Oh.
Negron raised his hand.
Hey, Tony, awesome. Well, Tony, would you mind coming off of mute just for a second and tell us about how long did it take to become an OSHA certified instructor? And, what was the process like? Any challenges that you faced? Tony, you might still be muted. Oh, mic's not working. All right. Well, Tony, do us a favor. In chat, about how long did it take you to complete the OSHA certification? And then also just what did you like about it or any challenges? If you could drop that into a comment in chat so everybody could see that, that would be great. All right. And by the way, Tony, thanks for doing that. I appreciate that. All right, let's keep moving too. As Tony's putting that in the chat, you might find that information helpful and a point of contact. If you have questions to ping Tony, you could do that. CPR first aid certification overview. The American Red Cross prevents and alleviates human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. In addition, the American Red Cross provides training and skills that help individuals prevent, prepare, and respond to emergencies. Among those are first aid and cardiopulmonary resuscitation, which is another acronym, CPR, but that one's more common. Many jobs that address health emergencies or have hazardous work environments require training to ensure employees have up-to-date life-saving skills. The Red Cross offers flexibility in delivering training that responds to this need and meets OSHA guidelines. First aid training and certification qualifies participants to provide basic medical care given good faith to sick or injured persons that maintain life and prevent further injury until professional medical care becomes available and takes over. CPR certification confirms that the participants are able to perform adequate CPR skills. The instructor must certify the participant has completed the formal CPR training and comprehends a minimum requirements for certification and has passed a written examination, and that's from the American Red Cross. They also provide AED training, and that, though, is not required for Illinois Works purposes, nor is it recommended, as most job sites do not tend to have AED machines. CPR first aid instructor requirements. Red Cross first aid and CPR instructors must be certified to facilitate the CPR and first aid training and award a certificate. Red Cross can train instructors at community centers, online, and at the grantees' facilities. You can secure a first aid CPR certified instructor by partnering with organizations who have certified instructors. However, again, it's more expensive to do so. Illinois Works guidance is it must be delivered as originally designated, right? For the CPR first aid certifications, the curriculum must be delivered as designated. Illinois Works will not accept any modifications. The most current version versions and edition of the curriculum must be delivered, must comply with the CPR and first aid testing and evaluation requirements, and must comply with the CPR and first aid 100% attendance requirements. Again, please note, some of our modules in Illinois Works have an 80% attendance threshold. However, to get this, it requires 100% attendance requirements per the certifying body's requirements. I want you to explain also that you'll find information about the Red Cross in the 2024 Grantee Manual. The American Heart Association also has an instructor certification program, and both of these curricula and certifications are acceptable for Illinois Works purposes. We're now sharing the contact information for both the instructor certification programs in the chat. So for more information, you can contact about the Red Cross there and the American Heart Association. So we, again, would love to hear just experiences anybody's had with the CPR. If you have completed your CPR first aid, if you're certified as an instructor for CPR and first aid, would love to hear how that process went, how long did it take, and what your experience was, any process challenges, things like that. So who all out there, do we have any in CPR first aid instructors? All right. I'm not seeing any hands raised. Did I miss any, Anna or Gia?
I'm not seeing any hands raised.
Okay. All right. Well,
Nothing in
let's.
the chat.
All right. Thank you, Gia. All right. Let's keep moving then. All right. So coaching support. Hey, here we go. Coaching support. If you'd like additional support with your program, accreditations, or instructor certifications, Illinois Works coaching is available. A program coaching is required for Track 2 and Track 3 organizations. If you fall into that category, you've already been contacted as our coaching plans have gone out. Program coaching is tailored to engagement between the professional program coach and a grantee. And this opportunity allows the grantees to receive individually tailored support with the goal of mitigating or preventing program challenges and proactively supporting program success. Coaches are not programmatic staff, though, and they cannot assist in grantees with actual program delivery. But Track 2 and Track 3 organizations can request that accreditation and or instructor certification processes be added to their coaching plan if it's not already and you would like help. If you are a Track 1 organization, you also can opt into program coaching by having your organization's grant administrators send a request to your assigned grant manager, including the reasons why you want to opt in. So are there any questions about this section before we move on? All right, we're going to move on. Section 6, supplemental instruction. We're going to, by the end of this section, you're going to be able to incorporate a minimum of 32 hours of employability skills, comply with experiential training and worksite practicum expectations, and consider additional certifications and relevant content. So employability skills. Employability skills are non-technical skills that can help participants increase their ability to succeed in an array of industry and workplaces. Illinois Works requires that grantees utilize the Illinois Essential Employability Skills Framework as a foundation for employability skills training. Grantees are encouraged to build upon this foundation and create and secure employability skills training modules as needed for their target population. Employability skills requires a minimum of 32 hours of training and should not exceed 40 hours in the grantee's pre-apprenticeship program curriculum. The Illinois Essential Employability Skills Framework is designed to define and clarify essential employability skills and provide a standard for the state of Illinois. Essential employability skills are those general skills that are required to be successful in the sectors of labor market and are separate from the technical skills attained in career pathways or academic skills such as math and reading and construction skills. The framework was developed through a collaboration of the Illinois Community College Board, ICCB, and the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, that's the DCEO, representatives of Illinois, businesses, local chambers of commerce, secondary, post-secondary, adult educators, and professionals all came together and helped create the essential employability skills framework. To learn more about the employability skills framework, we're providing a link in the chat for you. So you can access that great information. The framework is comprised of 4 primary skills: personal ethics, work ethics, teamwork, and communication. Each have a subset of behaviors or actions, and this framework should be used to ensure that your pre-apprenticeship program provides the employability skills for training to successfully respond to the needs of the current workforce and prepare participants to perform at their highest levels within their profession, environment, and with the goal of maximizing their success in the workforce. In Table 16 in the Grantee Manual Employability Skills courses, in the 2024 manual provides an array of courses based on the Illinois Essential Employability Skills Framework, as well as additional recommendations for modules that grantees may consider incorporating into their program. This table is not exhaustive of a list of available courses, but it does offer key skills that will benefit for the Illinois Works target population. So we've done some work to put together some great recommendations. So let's review each of those listed in Table 16. Again, Illinois Works requires a minimum of 32 hours of employability skills. So there's developing personal ethics. That's integrity, respect, perseverance, positive attitude. Building a strong work ethic. That's about dependability, commitment, and professionalism. Then there's critical thinking, demonstrating sound decision making and how to solve problems effectively. Working effectively with a team. How to work with differing personalities, strategies in dealing with conflict or differences. Strong and effective communication skills. And there's active listening covered, effective and cooperative work, and then verbal and written communications. And then lastly, developing a customer service approach. That's adaptability, self-control, accountability, patience, and positive language. I don't know about you, when I went through this the first time, I was like, wow, sound really good. These could be some great resources for us, right? So we think about this for our grantees. Experiential training on the work sites. Your program is expected to offer experiential training, also known as development by doing. There are several approaches and modules that leverage experiential training. Some examples include work-based learning, small group lab work, on-the-job training, or practicums. We'll take a deeper dive regarding experiential training, learning modalities, and the instructional strategies during the developing and implementing pre-apprenticeship curriculum and instruction session, which will take place later this year. Experiential training typically occurs at the following: construction laboratory, a facility that provides controlled conditions in which the participants can practice a task or skill, or a job site, a location or area where construction work is taking place. You want to note that job sites are not controlled like construction laboratories, right? The work site, this is instructors should provide classroom, hands-on work site training and tutoring. Grantees must provide stipends of up to $13 per instructional hour for work sites. Instructional hours are defined as training time spent in a classroom, construction lab, or during work site practicums. Illinois Works requires 10 to 50 hours of work-based learning, work site practicums, okay? Either work-based learning or work site practicum. Illinois Works guidance on performance-based stipends are paid based on the attendance, and the academic performance should not exceed $13 per training hour. Justification of needs does not need to be documented in the participant's file, since it's not need-based and it is given to all participants. These payments should be paid on a weekly or biweekly basis based on the performance measures established by the grantee's policy. The worksite experience should always be structured with an instructor acting as the supervisor, making sure the participants apply what they've learned in the classroom. Given worksite experiences qualify as instructional hours, attendance must be kept. It is important to note that attendance must be kept for instructional hours, including worksite instruction, and reported in real time. One roster should be used per week, documenting module name, training dates, and hours. Participants should print and sign their full name in ink. Pre-apprenticeship must match the ID. No initials or nicknames can be used. Participants are required to sign in when they arrive for training, and the instructor is responsible for entering the daily training hours for each participant at the end of the training day, documenting any shortfalls in attendance. Template 21, the sample Illinois Works roster, is available in the appendix section of the 2024 grantee manual. So you'll want to check out Template 21, sample Illinois Work attendance roster, if you have any questions about that. Again, really want to make sure follow those expectations. So that means, having the actual individuals sign in, not having one person do it for everybody, documenting the actual time, not that everybody's there for the full event, giving people what they actually attend. Additional certification considerations. We've covered a minimum of required certifications, giving you the needs for program participants, their craft areas of interest, and their post-program goals. Additional certifications and training that might be relevant. Additional certification and training considerations may include, but are not limited to, supplemental construction and building trades math, functional understanding of math, including general mathematics functions, equations, fractions, decimals, the volume of calculations. And apprenticeship applicants are required to pass a math test, and without using a calculator prior to being accepted into the apprenticeship program. And they must be able to do construction math without the use of a calculator. So this is typically an area where they struggle the most. And if you haven't taken that math test, I encourage you to check it out. I have, and it is not easy. So I want to attest to that, and it is an area you want to invest in your program. Flagger certification is another one of these. These are individuals that protect personnel and provide safety, courteous, authoritative directions to traffic passage through a work area. Upon successful completion of the course, participants will receive a ATSSA Flagger certification card. Though the Flagger certification can be a valuable addition to your pre-apprenticeship resume, it's important to note that the compensation for this isolated task is at the lower end of the compensation scale when we think about construction and building trades. And women are 50.8% of the population, yet only 4% of the construction and building trades profession. However, for construction flaggers, women make up 36.8%. Given the goal of equity, be cautious to not disproportionately point women in this direction as an isolated occupational craft or area. Then we have diversity, inclusion, belonging, and equity, DIBE. Strategies in this area to address equity, including support for minority-led organizations, discrimination within workplaces, sexism within the workplaces, bullying and harassment in the workplace, construction and trades from gender lens, construction and trades through the lens of people of color, and specific ethnic groups. For more information about DIBE, see Section 2, Program Culture, in the 2024 Grantee Manual, and you'll find a lot of great additional information. In addition, please note that DIBE topics can be included as part of the required 32 hours of employability skills and instruction. So I'm going to pause here and ask if there are any questions about this section of the presentation, and or actually of anything else that I've covered today that maybe you've triggered after we covered it that you wanted to go back to and ask a question about. Feel free to put that into chat. I'm
just going to ask the question.
Okay, go right ahead.
with the stipends that we give. There have been, unfortunately, I've had people who've had flat tires, accidents, so they've been late for class, and I have allowed them to make up the hours, of course, in their teaching on Fridays. Um, in the notes, they said it's at our discretion if we give them the stipend money for makeup. How does that go?
Yeah, so I am, and I wish I could respond to this one from experience. I cannot. And I don't know, is Gia, are you on still? If not, Gail, I will need to follow up with you on that. I am not familiar with how that is paid out. But I understand your question is about, is that is the makeup one that we need to go through, and how do, what kind of, you're asking, do I have the flexibility or should I have the
Yeah,
flexibility?
well, in reading the
This,
booklet, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I am on the line, but I will tell you, I was typing a private response to somebody else when you asked the question, so I didn't hear the context of it. So Jeff, if you can just like give me a summary of the question, I can respond to it.
Yeah, Gail's just asking about the stipends payout,
Mhm.
and for individuals that maybe don't show up on time initially, but then offer a makeup, and they come in on a Friday for a makeup part of the time that they missed. There was a note in the grantee manual about the payment of stipends at the grantee's discretion for the makeup.
Okay, so this is, Gail, you always have the best questions that really are nuanced. So if they are making up instructional hours, um, they are supposed to be entitled to a stipend, but I also think we have to differentiate that from student support services, which might be tutoring and other things. So student support services is actually a benefit. So they do not get a stipend for student support services like tutoring. But if they are actually, so let's say, for example, they missed 40 minutes of their CPR first aid, they are not allowed to do that and still earn that credential. So if they come in, let's say they wait until the next session and they come in and make up those 45 minutes, they are entitled to a stipend. Again, at you all's discretion.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Gia. And Gia, before you run again, I did have a question come through about as far as the, do we have videos for instructors on adding the attendance to the, around the roster?
Okay,
Does-
that's a really good question. So we do not have videos. However, we are getting ready to release job aids regarding the roster. And I will say what I have invited um, any of my coaches to do, and I will say this to you all, if you have either Jeff or Anna as one of your coaches, I know that they are happy to actually do the same, is if you send them your roster, because you just want feedback on it before you submit it, we are all happy to respond to that.
Thank you, Gia. Other questions? Anything else come in, Anna, or anybody else?
Nothing that I see.
All right, we want to make sure that we answered your questions. So I am now going to turn it back over to Anna and for some feedback on today's session.
Yeah, we are done with the main content. So now all we have left is the evaluation. Please come back into Mentimeter, if you will. Help us out, help us improve this session for the future and improve other sessions similar to it. You can go to menti.com and enter in 78418624. Hopefully you're already in there. I will start this. Let's just start with, please share your views on the training, rating the following statements. To what extent did it meet your expectations? And there's a 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest score and 1 being the lowest. To what extent did this training meet your expectations? How likely are you to attend a similar event in the future? And how likely are you to recommend the training to others? Thank you so much. I see we got a couple people who have answered. Really glad to see that we're meeting expectations and that it was helpful for you. Who else wants to? Yeah, we've got, well, really glad to see. It's been super helpful for the people on the call. And I see we've got about half the people have responded. If you haven't got joined Mentimeter yet, please come on in, menti.com. You can join on your phone or you can open another browser in your computer. I'm going to keep going. How relevant was the course to what you wanted to learn? So, do you strongly agree, disagree that the course was relevant to what you wanted to learn? And the 5 is strongly agree. I know in the past we've had a couple people mention, oh, wait, I hit 1 instead of 5. Strongly agree. We've got a couple strongly disagree, someone agree. All right. So most people it was helpful for. We'll be interested to hear from those who did not find it helpful. In a minute, you'll have a chance to give some feedback in writing and what it is that you were looking for. Do you plan to apply what you learned? You strongly agree? Great. I see that for the most part, you strongly agree. And what improvements might you recommend? So please, as you know, you've probably been on these before. We always welcome your feedback. And we do take it into account when creating future programs. I'll give you a second since it takes a minute to write, especially if you're on your phone. If you don't have any, you could just write NA or none. Thank you. Yes, this training should happen in January at the beginning of the program. Thank you. Another person who agrees that the timing is late for you. Anyone else? I want to, in case you're taking a minute to write, that's why I'm continuing to pause. There's an overview of what we already learned, should be done at the beginning. Great. So I'm just going to go with, if other people have comments, it's probably similar to the ones that have been added already. Thank you. You are very welcome. We're going to keep going. And what did you find effective? And if we make changes, what would you recommend that we keep? Again, if your answer is none, you can just say that or say NA, just so we can see that you're engaging. I'll give you guys a minute to write, because I know it takes a minute to write something thoughtful. Thank you. Glad the entire presentation was useful for you. Engagement was effective. Great. This was helpful. Thank you. I'll just pause for another few seconds. Oh, wait, I'm going to go back. So I want to see, keep all of it, maybe have someone go more into depth with the 32 hours of employability information. Yeah, thank you. Helpful comment. Anything else that you think we should know about? Again, if your answer is NA, just please feel free to put that in the chat so that we know that not to wait for you to write something. All right. And we have reached the end of the presentation and the end of the program. And I just really want to thank everyone for, again, for your partnership. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your engagement with the process. We're really happy to have you be part of our provider network. And on behalf of Illinois Works and our professional development staff, we'll see you soon, and we look forward to it.